We welcome you back to CBS This Morning. We are continuing our conversation with Oprah. We've got another exclusive excerpt from her interview last night with Prince Harry and Meghan. It's a doozy. If you missed any of these new clips, you can watch all of them right now on CBS This Morning's Twitter and YouTube accounts. We'll actually watch it starting at 9 o'clock Eastern. So, Oprah, in this unaired excerpt, Meghan and Harry discuss feeling not supported by the royal family from attacks in the UK tabloids. And they say the attacks on them were different because of race. You remember this one? Let's listen.
Mm-hmm. You've had these conversations with your family members. They know why you left. Mm-hmm. So has anybody said, I'm sorry you had to make that move, or I'm sorry you felt that you had to do that because you felt we were not supporting you?
No, sadly not. The feeling is that this was our decision, therefore the consequences are on us. And despite 3 years of asking for help and seeing or visualizing how this might end, mm-hmm. It was, I don't know, it's been really hard because I am part of the system with them. I always have been. But I guess I'm very aware of this, that my brother can't leave that system, but I have.
Does your brother want to leave the system?
I don't know, I can't speak for him. But with that relationship and that control and the fear by the UK tabloids, it's a toxic environment. But I will always be there for him. I will always be there for my family. And as I said, I've tried to help them to see what has happened.
Do they think it's a toxic environment, or do you all just think it's a toxic environment because you're now out of it? If we were to have an interview with them or a conversation with them, does your father think it's a toxic environment or relationship?
No, I think he's had to make peace with it.
And why couldn't you make peace with it? I'll ask that of both of you.
Because this was different. You know,
it's different because of the race
and social media.
And social media. Oh yes,
right?
Different time. Different time.
That didn't exist, and so it was like the wild, wild west. It was mm-hmm. spread like wildfire. Plus, my being American, it translated in a different way across the pond. So you had a noise level that was very different. But if they can't see that it's different,
so you felt bullied on an international level.
Look, I think the volume of what was coming in and the interest was greater because of social media, because of the fact that I was not just British, and that unfortunately, if members of his family say, well, this is what's happened to all of us, or if his, you know, if they can compare what the experience that I went through was similar to what has been shared with us. Kate was called Waity Katie, waiting to marry William. While I imagine that was really hard, and I can't picture what that felt like, this is not the same. And if a member of his family will comfortably say, we've all had to deal with things that are rude and racist are not the same. Mm. And equally, you've also had a press team that goes on the record to defend you, especially when they know something's not true. And that didn't happen for us.
You mentioned earlier, Harry, that you were hurt by the fact that there's been no acknowledgement on the part of your family that this was different because of race. Mm-hmm. Do you think there ever will be? And would that make a difference to you?
Yeah, it would make a huge difference. You know, as I said, there's a lot of people that have seen it for what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Like, it's talked about across the world. Yet, the very people that don't want to see it or can't see it choose not to see it.
Boy, Oprah, when Meghan said rude and racist are not the same, I thought that was a very powerful statement. And I'm curious about your reaction, too. Also. Yeah, your reaction when you saw that. And the other thing that I'm hearing already chatter bubbling up is, if these two want privacy, why are they sitting down with the queen of American television? I think there's a difference between privacy and intrusion. Could you talk about that from their point of view and what you thought when she said rude and racist?
Well, I thought that was really very powerful, and I also, thought that she was gracious when speaking about what happened with Kate Middleton in terms of, Waity Katie. They are not the same. And I think what Anthony said earlier, I don't think the American public understands. We attempted to, but weren't really able to show you what the barrage of daily vitriol and negativity on a on a consistent basis does to your personal psyche. I mean, it wasn't just like a couple of stories. It's a business, and she's a commodity and an asset to that business. And so what the point that they made in the interview that we weren't able to show is that, yes, they want privacy, but they understand that they are public figures, and the privacy is not to be intruded upon. The same thing everybody else in the world wants, and that there's a difference between privacy and intrusion and being able to have boundaries. Yes, you want privacy. You don't want helicopters and people hiding in the bushes, filming your baby outside playing. And I think that when people say, oh, they're talking now and they wanted privacy, they don't understand that there is a difference between being a public figure who wants to have some boundaries and not to be consistently intruded upon versus being private.
And also please tell the truth. I've heard one example of, okay, I'll share one photo with you, say on Instagram, doesn't mean I want you to have the whole roll. And it was a nonstop barrage of negative press that was not true.
Hey, Oprah, I'm curious. I mean, there were so many bombshells in this interview. I mean, it seemed like one after another. Was there anyone that especially surprised you?
I think the skin tone, the discussions about what color, what Archie's skin tone would be, that surprised me. What also surprised me was, and that's why I clarified, were you just feeling badly? Were you feeling sad? Or were there actual suicidal ideation thoughts of harming yourself? That also really surprised me.
Oprah, I just want to clarify one point.
It surprised me that Harry said he was trapped. It surprised me that Harry said he was trapped. And when I said, how are you trapped if you're in a palace? And then he came back at me like, yes.
But I also thought it was very interesting that he added that he felt his father and his brother were trapped too.
Yeah, you made a point. He was really specific, but he was there. Oprah, we're running out of time, but I want to clarify, when you say you were surprised about the skin tone conversation, were you surprised that that would be true inside the palace, or were you surprised they were telling you about it?
I was surprised that they were telling me about it.
I mean, I think that's when the first jaw dropped for a lot of people, and it's generating a lot of conversation.
Even I... Guys, even I on the tape, you could hear me go, whoa, because I'm like, I cannot even believe you are saying this right now.
But I think it speaks to them talking to you and how comfortable they felt. We'll get more about that, too. Oprah, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break.